Good evening. Hello to everyone who's joining us for a special episode of SCOTONOMICS tonight. Hopefully a slightly shorter one, episode 69, as we give you a good preview and also rundown of our Festival of Economics. So hello to you all, and hello Kieran, nice to have you with us tonight.
Hello.
Busy at the moment?
Very busy, very busy. It just gets busier and busier. The more people get to know you, the more questions.
Well, hopefully speaking of questions, hopefully we'll have some questions tonight. But yeah, so we're running this session just to give our attendees a chance to ask us some questions, but also an opportunity for us just to run through what we're planning to do with the festival for those who are as yet undecided to come and join us. So please, if you've got any questions, if you're attending or if you're thinking about attending, then please do drop the questions and we'll get back to you. The first thing I thought I would do is show everyone let me see if I can get this to work, our website at the moment. So we've got our ticket prices. All of the tickets are still available. We have online tickets, and we've got as many online attendees joining us as we have physical attendees, which is fantastic because that was always my plan, to try and have as low emissions and low resource use event as possible, but still get out to as many people as possible. So we've got people joining us remotely from right across the UK. There's someone from the Netherlands joining us, and there's quite a few people from kind of Oban and Inverness. So it's absolutely hit the mark on that. So we're really, really pleased. So that's our ticket prices. You'll see you can join online, and that gets all of the live sessions for as little as £20. And then we have our day rates. And if you wanted to join the 3 days, join us in Dundee for the Friday, Saturday and Sunday, it's only £65. So please do, if you're still considering it, look at the prices and hopefully you'll see that as a good bargain. The first thing I wanted to do with you, Kieran, was I suppose just to have a little chat about the speakers on the Friday. So we've got a shorter day. It's just a half day, really, just the evening on the Friday. Here's our speakers for the Friday. I'm sure you'll recognise some of them, maybe some more than others. Kieran, any thoughts? Who's your highlights from the Friday?
Yeah, so there's a few of them that I don't know. So Pauline I don't know, and Nick Sherrod I don't really know much about either. I guess for me, probably Stephen Kinsella, Dirk Entz. I really, really found Stephen to be an incredibly interesting man. I didn't agree with everything he said during his interview, as you know, but very, very well-read, well-rounded person, lots of interest. Dirk will be really interesting on Europe, I'm sure. And Alex Salmond, that would be a really interesting interview too. We've got Stephen Hale, who is a fantastic economist, so that's going to be really interesting. But yeah, and Tad, or Tag, actually, I think it's pronounced. That's going to add a bit of sparkle, isn't it?
Yeah, he's actually chairing our last session of the evening, so he's going to do a little introduction at the start. But he's chairing the session with Stephen and Dirk Entz. And what we've asked the three of them to do is to look at how mainstream macroeconomic models are put together, and just kind of enlighten the audience about how those models are constructed. And I think people are going to be really surprised when they see what's included and what's not included in those models. And we're also going to have some discussion around why those models are so influential, yet based on, well, I won't ruin it, based on some rather what's the best way to put it? Unlikely actual practical scenarios, and we're going to get into that detail. So I think that'll be really good. It's and mentioning and finishing with Alex Salmond. He hasn't given an interview for years just concentrating on economics, and that is what we're going to cover with Alex. It's just an economic. It's conversations about his journey, his economic journey. He started out as an economist at Royal Bank of Scotland, and I think I'm not sure, somewhere else as well, Scottish Government maybe, and then obviously his time as First Minister and the economic conditions that he had to see, and also we'll be asking about the decision to have a currency union during the referendum. So there's going to be a lot to go into with Alex. And I said we're keeping exclusively to the economics of it. So that's Friday. We've got a question from Hashbury here. Will any of the sessions be streamed live or available to view later on YouTube? Yes, we've got 2 sessions on the Sunday, which are available for everyone. If you've bought the online ticket, you can see our live stream sessions Friday, Saturday and Sunday. But if you haven't been able to or decided not to join as an online attendee, then we do have a couple of free sessions on the Sunday. We will also be showing some of the sessions over the next year, but if you want to see all of the sessions, all of the full length sessions, then you've got to attend got to pay to attend the event. So thanks for that, Hashbury. So that's the Friday. Saturday, here's some of the speakers, and as you'll see, there's a lot more of them on the Saturday. And we're still going. I think that's the last line. Okay, we've got a couple of people coming back from the Friday to do a couple of sessions for us on the Saturday, but a lot of new speakers joining us on the Saturday. Again, Karen, anyone jump out at you is going to be a really interesting speaker, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they're all going to be, I'm sure. I mean, I haven't really come across Gary Gillespie or Andrew Thin. I wondered a little bit about Shireen Morris, and can you tell me a wee bit about her?
Yeah, so Shireen Morris is a constitutional lawyer who has looked at the role of the Reserve Bank in Australia from a kind of constitutional and democracy or democratic aspect. And she's really looking at the democratic deficit that's involved in monetary policy as led by central banks. So she's got a fantastic insight, and Shireen has been, pretty incensed when she looked at this as an academic, and then found out that the central bank was making Australians unemployed to keep the interest rate down. As someone who was new to economics, she kind of said that she had to read those phrases a few times for it to sink in. So she's got a fantastic perspective on central banks, and she's speaking along with Marla DeCaron, who is an economist from Trinidad and Tobago, and they're going to be talking about the central bank and what a central bank should or could do before our 2 kind of Scottish central bank experts, Tim Rideout and also Stuart McIntosh from the Group of 30, talk about their ideas for a Scottish central bank. So that's an hour-long session. We've got a recorded interview with Marla and with Shireen, and then we've got a live session with Stuart and Tim. So I think that's going to be one of the highlights, and that's the first session on the Saturday. Anyone else?
So I see we have a history professor.
Yes.
Dr. Andrew McKillop. So what is he going to talk about?
So Andrew is being joined by Marla for the session looking at the source of Scotland's wealth. And we're really going to investigate Scotland's role in the British Empire and the British Empire's role in taking wealth from the south and using it to advance the economy and the life and health of everyone in the United Kingdom. So that's going to be a fascinating conversation, and it's actually taking place at the Contemporary Arts Centre. We're hosting it just after we're doing a tour of the gallery, which has got a lot of pictures from Jamaica. And so it's a really nice tie-in. So if you're at the event on the Saturday, there's a little gallery tour thrown in as well. So that'll be a really good session. That's towards the end. You've got a back-to-back sessions you're chairing in the afternoon with Shona. So you're looking at the Social Justice Commission, and also the welfare, and also the kind of beyond the welfare state.
Yeah. So, she was one of the authors of the Social Justice and Fairness Commission, which I would say is a bit of work from the left of the party. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. So I wanted to discuss that with a wider audience and give it a little bit more of an airing. And the other thing I was going to ask you about as well, I see we have a couple of people from Commonweal. So we've got Craig DL and also Amanda Bergauer as well. So what are we going to be talking to them about?
Yeah, so Craig is doing one session on the easy guide to quantitative easing. And of course, there's no easy guide to quantitative easing, but they're going to try their best, him and Richard Murphy. And then Amanda's actually joining 2 or 3 sessions on the Saturday, and she's also kindly staying around to help us do the summing up session on the Friday. So really, really good. We've also got another think tank. We have the IPPR joining us, who's going to give us a very different perspective, and they're on the panel with yourself, the one that you're chairing, along with Ailsa, talking about the beyond the welfare state. And that's kind of just looking at how do you redesign a welfare state for the next 20 years rather than what we've got at the moment. So I think that's going to be a really interesting session that you've got. Okay, so will we have a little look at Sunday now?
Yeah.
So Sunday is kind of our climate day.
Yeah.
And we're covering a few other topics on the Sunday, but really I wanted to try and bring a lot of the content together on the Sunday. So it's a good day to sum everything up, but also I really wanted to concentrate on the economics of the climate crisis. And there's no one better to talk about that to get us going than Steve Keen. So we're really, really lucky to have him. We had to record the interview with him because it's his birthday. And quite rightly, he's not doing anything on his birthday but celebrating it with his wife. I think it's his 70th, Karen, yes. which completely blew me away. So we were really lucky to get hold of him. And also, I think a real highlight for me is having Timothy Paraquet, who is kind of the European expert on the idea of degrowth. So we're really lucky to have got those 2 international, very well-known international speakers to join us. And they're both, I said, Steve's recorded virtually, and then Timothy's joining us from, I think he's on Corsica, at a European climate event. So very, very lucky to get them. Anyone else stand out on that day for you, Karen?
So I see we have a professor of mathematics.
Yes. So we are Gonzalo. He's at Edinburgh University, and he's got a lot of experience in, doesn't sound very interesting, but it fits in beautifully for us, batteries, because we're talking about the role of technology to mitigate the climate crisis. So Gonzalo's got a perspective of the technical aspect, but also the mathematics behind the likely impact of whether or not technology can mitigate the climate crisis. So that's going to be a really interesting session. That's towards the end of the day. And then our last session, we have Amanda and Neil, and probably or possibly, hopefully, another couple of speakers joining us to sum up the day. So that's our speaker list. So you can see how many speakers we've got, and here's a very quick look at our sessions.
Yeah, it looks fabulous. And also, I love the film of Dundee. Dundee is looking fabulous right now. So, I think if you haven't been to Dundee yet, you're going to be really maybe surprised if you haven't been there for a while. There's been big changes since I lived there. I initially moved there in 2006 and stayed across the water in Tayport until 2016. And as you know, did my degree there during that time as well. And, I think, William, you've probably found a big difference in it from when you lived there too, because you did your degree quite a long time before me.
Yeah, we're both returning alumni, aren't we? It's really going to be really good for us to be back with an economics conference, which will hopefully make a difference to Dundee and also to Scotland if some of these ideas are taken forward. On the Friday, we're at one venue, which is the Dundee Contemporary Arts. On the Saturday, we've got 2 venues. We add the Little Theatre, which is a beautiful theatre just just south of Hilltown, just on the Overgate. So it's a really, really nice part of the city. Or you can see we've got a really busy day on the Saturday. We've got 15 minutes between a lot of the sessions, so people will be rushing between the 2 venues. I worked out it was about 15 minutes. So hopefully if we can keep the time, people can move between the venues. But we'll set it up so that if you like, if you're keen on finding out about, the central banks and monetary policy, there's a couple of sessions for you to do before you need to move on, and the same with the welfare state. So hopefully we've structured that so that people aren't running around as much as you and I will be, Karen. We finish with a fantastic session on the Saturday, which is our Mythbuster session, and we've got 2 comedians and 3 economists joining us, and that's going to be really good fun. and hopefully we'll be able to burst some myths, but also have a right good laugh doing it as well. And then we're into Sunday, where I said you can see the sessions here. Not just climate, but that's certainly the main thing that we're going to be discussing. So loads going on, and I'm just going to scroll up so I can't see that it's only 3 days left, because that just gives me a panic attack. So I feel much better when I'm looking at it like that, because we've still got lots to do. So that's it, Kieran. 3 days, 2 venues, over 30 speakers, and over 20 sessions. So how are you feeling about it now? You've almost been able to start to concentrate on it.
Yeah, I'm really excited, William. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a holiday. I know we're going to be busy, but it's going to be, I'm going to be in another city for 3 days, and that's quite nice. So I'm looking forward to that, and booked a nice hotel room. So yeah, looking forward to having that wee break too. Although we will be busy, so yeah, I'm really excited about it actually.
Yeah, I know. Well, we did offer.
Excited.
Oh, brilliant. Well, we did offer you room in the Airbnb that we've hired for everyone else, and you went, no, you're fine actually. The boys can all just stay there. I'll go off and go somewhere a bit nicer. So that was wise. But no, we are going to be really busy. At the moment, we are expecting about 50, 60 people there on each day, and round about the same numbers online. So for our first outing, we're really, really happy that we're going to have packed rooms over the couple of days. And obviously, we've still got space for anyone who does want to join us. Next week, our SCOTONOMICS episode is actually from the SCOTONOMICS Festival of Economics, and we've got 2 sessions. I'll just bring that up again. I'll show you the sessions that we've got. It's on the Sunday. You'll see the first 2 sessions there. They're going out free, so they're effectively SCOTONOMICS episode 70 and episode 71. We've got an introduction to modern monetary theory, and then we've got a discussion on the Scottish Job Guarantee. And the Scottish Job Guarantee, or a job guarantee, is very much one of the policies that kind of naturally comes out of the idea of modern monetary theory. So it's going to be really good to have those 2 together, and they'll be streamed live from what our physical audience will be seeing on the Friday. So that'll be episode 70 and 71, and then you won't be surprised to hear that there's no episode on Monday for 2 reasons, but the main reason being I'm flying back to Barcelona on the Monday. We'll have a little bit of a break, and then we might do a highlight show or episode 72, although we have got some other interviews lined up. So that's what we've got over the next week or so. It'd be fantastic if anyone who is watching does still want to join us. We've certainly got space for you, and we'd love to see you there. I have got
here on your social media and encourage people to come along.
Yes, and that's good. And I've just got a little 3-minute video of, we've actually got 3 pre-recorded sessions, so I've just kind of clipped a wee bit together so you can get a feel for some of the topics. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll hopefully see a lot of you in person or online over the weekend, and then if not, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks so much for joining us.
Bye-bye.
So the economy is driving the climate crisis in the fundamental sense that the source of all our wealth is what we find for free in nature.
So what I'm hearing as a non-economist is that we have put a price on people. We put a price on their productivity, we put a price on their worth, and that is having a terrible impact on our economy and on our people overall. Even though there is more and more wealth, it's not coming down.
And this is where we need your blue sky thinking.
Central banks also create and regulate the amount of local currency in circulation. They issue notes and coins, physical notes and coins, for example, as well as electronic money. That's the kind of money we use when we use our credit cards and so on. And they put that money into circulation in the country, in the economy, mainly by buying securities from the government, buying government paper. And they can also use that mechanism to control inflation. And they can also use that mechanism and controlling money supply in order to manage the exchange rate. And that foreign exchange regulation aspect of a central bank is probably more important in small open economies than in some of the larger economies where they have what we call hard currencies, currencies that are easily convertible to any currency on the international market.
You served as the Vice Chairman of the Central Bank of Iceland for 4 years. So can you tell me how a small country with just over 300,000 inhabitants survives on the world stage with a free-floating fiat currency?
A currency is a very interesting thing, and it's free-floating, and that is a strength. And it is also, some would call it a weakness, but in my mind it's not a bug, it's a feature. Because a free-floating currency is basically giving you a signal, always. Is the economy doing well? If it's doing well, if their goods and services are in demand outside of the country and within the country, then the currency, a free-floating currency, is likely to appreciate. Mm-hmm. And then the nation will, gain from that, because a stronger currency means that you can buy more important stuff, you can travel abroad, and you can afford more. The purchasing power is going up. And so everyone gains from this. And then if there is something wrong within the economy, let's say that some sector of the economy is outdated or something, and the demand is decreasing, then you will export less, right? And everyone will feel that, and the currency will depreciate. And when the currency depreciates, then you also create an incentive for others to basically do something to take advantage of that. So a free-floating currency for us, even a small economy, is basically always changing the incentives and aligning them with the, shall we say, where is the market right now? What should the economy be focusing on? And